It's no secret, movie license games most of the time come up short and are not worth playing. So is this game worth your time? Well, let's find out. Disney's action game featuring Hercules is a 2.5D platformer developed by Eurocam and published by Disney Interactive. It was released in 1997 on PC and the PlayStation 1. That's the version we are looking at today. The first thing you'll notice is how good the visuals are. Reminds you of a 90s Saturday morning cartoon. Personally, I love that look in the platformer. Also, Hercules sprite work here is especially good for the time, and you can see Disney splash the cash when it came to the animations here. The environments coming to life in the stages and villagers and animals walking around really does give the feeling the world here is alive. Reminds you of how Rayman 1 did this too. The developers really did get the best out of the PlayStation's 32-bit hardware. The controls are pretty basic here, but that's not a bad thing. Hercules can jump, crouch, and has 3 attack moves: a sword swipe, a right and left jab, and a wind-up uppercut. Personally, I only use the sword for enemies, and the uppercut is super good for rocks and pillars in Herc's way. I know, sounds ridiculous, right? But he is Hercules, I suppose. This is a good point to mention about Hercules' sword lunge. He pauses after every swing, leaving you open to taking damage. Here's an example. Pickups in the stages include a lightning strike and a fireball for Hercules' sword. I really like the lightning one, great for crowd control. You can find extra lives hidden in the stages, so this doesn't encourage exploration, making the most of the 2.5D stages. There are gladiator helmets you can find that make you invincible for a short time, but I didn't really use these much. And of course, the staple of the platformer in the 90s, health items in the form of milk cartons. Get used to this every time you pick them up.
Hercules!
Yeah, gets old very quick. There's also coins and collectible letters in each stage. Strangely enough, if you want to save, you'll have to find 4 pots. Why you can just save the game? It's honestly beyond me. But anyway, there are checkpoints available, and there's also a password option, so I suppose it's not too bad. There is a story here. It basically follows the movie plot. Hercules has been stripped of his godhood by his father Zeus, and set a challenge to defeat a number of evil creatures, and defeat Hades, who has kidnapped Meg. If he succeeds, Hercules will rejoin the gods on Mount Olympus. It's good the story's here, but not needed to enjoy the game. Oh, I nearly forgot to mention, Hercules has a trusty sidekick in Phil, who shouts encouragement, voiced by the brilliant Danny DeVito.
What are you doing? Get your sword!
Level design is everything you'd expect in a decent platformer. Your journey through forests, an ancient village, caves, lake beds, there's a good variety in stages here. And of course, enemies will be trying to stop you progress. There are bars that can be swung on to reach higher parts of levels, and deadly pits to jump over. And then there's these Crash Bandicoot-like stages, running up screen till you reach the end. Really like them. And this cool stage on an on-rails section, flying on a Pegasus. As mentioned, Hercules must defeat evil creatures, and the baddest of them all are saved for the boss fights. Typically, they are at the end or in between levels. They're not the hardest bosses you'll have in a game, but are decent. They all have a certain way they are defeated. I personally like the Medusa fight.
Here's looking at you, Medusa.
Also, I just wanted to highlight Meg's comments to you while waiting for the password input.
That's right, it's time to play Vases of Fortune.
I did get a little laugh out of this. Great stuff. The soundtrack to the game is very good, as most tracks are from the movie. Really does set the mood. There are those difficulty levels in the game: beginner, medium and Herculean. Strangely, if you play on beginner mode, you won't be able to play the whole game. There's 2 levels missing. On harder difficulties, the game is a good challenge despite its angelic look. In summary, Hercules is an overlooked platformer, probably because it's a licensed Disney game. But give it a playthrough. You won't be disappointed, I don't think. For a 1997 game, it holds up very well, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.